to the Cardinals, and the fans got treated to Dwight Smith of the Cubs singing the national anthem.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Dwight Smith gets congratulations from his Cubs teammates, and in the top of the first inning, George Bell meets the fans at Wrigley chasing after a foul ball. The fans interfere with it and is ruled an out. Tom Pagnozzi going off of first base in the top of the fifth. Jose Oquendo throws his bat and gets a piece of the pitch out thrown by Danny Jackson. Same inning, bases full. Bernard Gilkey works the count to 3-2. He was down 0-2. He draws ball 4 from Jackson. Tom Pagnozzi scores, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. But the Cubs get that run back in the bottom of the fifth inning. Shawan Dunston, leading off the inning, will take this Bryn Smith pitch and deposit it into the seats in left center field. For Dunston, obviously, it is his first home run of the year, and it tied the game up at 1 apiece. Top of the eighth inning, Danny Jackson loaded the bases full of Cardinals, and he was relieved by Paul Ossenmacher, who gave up an infield base hit to Jose Oquendo to make it 2-1. And then Craig Wilson would get a squibber off of Ossenmacher's glove, harmlessly rolls to Dunston. Todd Zeal scores 3-1 St. Louis, a fielder's choice, and it was 4-1 St. Louis after 8. Bottom of the ninth inning, Lee Arthur Smith comes in to pick up his first save of the season. He gets Dunston to fly out to end the ball game as the Cardinals ruin the Cubs' season home opener with a 4-1 victory. Bryn Smith the winner, and the loser is Danny Jackson.
Calderon and the Montreal Expos are visiting the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the top of the first inning, Calderon will hit a double down the third baseline off of Pirates starter Bob Walk. This will score Delino DeShields and make the score 1-0 Expos. Still in the top of the first inning, Larry Walker comes to the plate, and he hits what looks to be a single into right field that scores Calderon, making the score 2-0, but Walker stretches this one into a double. He was unable to advance, however, and the inning ended 2-0, and then between the top half of the inning and the bottom half, the rains came down, and the game had to be delayed after the grounds crew struggled to get the tarp onto the field. The game was delayed for quite a while, and you'll see some fans running out onto the field to slide on the tarp during the delay. Larry Walker took time out to take a nap, resting his head on the lap of Oil Can Boyd in the dugout. Then when they resumed, we'll see in the bottom of the first inning, Chris Navholz striking out Andy Van Slyke. This ends the bottom of the first inning. Navholz pitched 5 scoreless innings in this game and got a no decision for his efforts. With the score 3-1 Montreal in the bottom of the 7th inning, Jay Bell hit a single to center field that scored Gary Redus and made it 3-2. Then in the bottom of the 8th inning, after Tim Burke had walked in the tying run, he hit Gary Redus with a pitch. That scored Jeff King and made the score 4-3 Pittsburgh, and that turned out to be the final. The winner Kipper is 1-0, the loser Fry is 0-1. Landrum got his first save.
Exactly baseball weather at Royal Stadium on Tuesday evening. Kansas City Royals host the Cleveland Indians. Sandy Alomar batting, Albert Bell on first base, Mike Boddicker pitching, top second, no score. 1-0 now Cleveland because this is an RBI double off the wall, and Alomar drives in Bell. That was the score through the early innings, 1-0 Cleveland. Meanwhile, Tom Candiotti is pitching a masterpiece for the Cleveland Indians. Here he strikes out Mike McFarland in the 5th inning of play. Candiotti would go 8 innings, give up 5 hits, strike out 5, and yield but 1 run. It's 1-0 Cleveland leading in the 8th inning when Jerry Brown hits a sacrifice fly. Felix Fermin scores on the play, and Jerry Brown trots back to the dugout with a sac fly RBI, 2-0 Cleveland in the top of the 8th. In the bottom of the 8th, Brian McRae gets a ground out on the play. Bill Pacoda scores from third base to yield the only run that Candiotti gives up in the game. 2-1 Cleveland now in the 9th. Doug Jones pitches a 1-2-3 9th inning with 2 outs in the 9th. Kirk Gibson up. He grounds out to end the ball game, and Jones gets the save.
Tuesday night in Toronto, Joe Carter and the Blue Jays are hosting the Boston Red Sox, and in the bottom of the first inning, Carter hit a double to right center field that scored Devon White and gave the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. They made it 2-0 on a sacrifice fly in the second, and then in the top of the third inning, Tony Pena tied the game with 1 swing of the bat. Pena hit his first home run of the season, a 2-run shot to left field, so the game was tied at 2, after 2.5 innings of play. The score was still 2-2 in the top of the 6th inning when Jimmy Key threw a pitch to Tony Pena. This will be lined right back to him, but Key will make a nice play to snag it. So it went to the bottom of the 6th, tied at 2, and Mark Whitten lined a double to left field. This will bring Rance Molnix into score and make the score 3-2 Toronto. That turned out to be the game-winning RBI. The Blue Jays were up to stay. In the bottom of the 7th, they added another run as Joe Carter came up with his second RBI of the game. Carter hits a double to the left field wall off the glove of the leaping Mike Greenwell, and Devon White comes into score, making the score 4-2 Blue Jays. The final was 4-3. The winner was Key. He's 1-0. The loser, Harris, is 0-1. Henke gets his first save of the season.
On the mound for the Seattle Mariners, but Dave Parker at the plate in the top of the 2nd inning of a scoreless game. Parker, in his first at-bat as an Angel, hits a home run. What an Angel. His solo homer on an 0-2 pitch makes it 1-0 California, his 329th career homer. Later in the 5th inning, he would triple thanks to Tracy Jones's misplay, and it would be significant because then the next man up, Lance Parrish, singles. Parker scores 2-0 California through 5. Meanwhile, Chuck Finley throwing strikes and throwing zeros by the innings by the Mariners. Alvin Davis grounds out in the 5th inning. Chuck Finley would shut out the Mariners through 7. Top 8, the California Angels, Wally Joyner at the plate. He singles to center field. Dick Schofield scores on the play. It's now a 3-0 Angel lead. Finley takes that shutout into the bottom of the 8th, but he loses it there. Harold Reynolds with the single, and that enables Omar Vizquel to score. It's a 3-1 California lead. Still in the 8th inning, Edgar Martinez at the plate. Now watch this controversy. Martinez hits a pop-up in foul territory. It hits a wire off camera, and Lance Parrish catches it. The first call by the umpire is out. It's later reversed to just a foul ball, and Martinez later would walk on the play, and Jim Lefevre is happy. Then in the 8th, Alvin Davis against Brian Harvey singles down the right field line. Harold Reynolds scores. It's 3-2 after 8. But that's as close as the Mariners got as Brian Harvey pitches a 1-2-3 ninth, including getting pinch hitter Scott Bradley to end it. The Mariners fall 3-2.
Gagne hit his first home run of the season, a solo shot to left field that made the score 5-1 Oakland. In the bottom of the 5th, rookie Chuck Knobloch dropped the throw of Greg Gagne. The error by the second baseman scored Mark McGuire and made the score 7-1 Oakland in the 5th. 7-2 turned out to be the final score in this game as Oakland wins it in the top of the 9th inning at 1:30 in the morning Eastern Time when I really didn't feel like doing anything about it. Chili Davis hit his first home run as a Minnesota Twin, a shot to left field that made the score 7-2. The winner, Stewart, is of course 1-0. The loser, Jack Morris, is 0-1. That's Stewart's 15th consecutive April win, and that's not Dave Stewart on the mound, by the way.
Guy Hunter, a POW from the War of the Rock, throws out the first ball Tuesday night, opening night as the San Diego Padres host the San Francisco Giants. Guy Hunter throws the ball, then shakes hands with Governor Pete Wilson of California. We move now to the top of the 4th inning with San Diego leading 2-0. Kevin Mitchell hits a 2-run home run to center field, his first home run of the year. It scores Will Clark, and the score was tied 2-2. Then in the top of the 7th inning, Kevin Bass grounds to Fred McGriff, who makes a fancy flip over to Ed Whitson for the out. The score remained 2-2 until the bottom of the 7th inning when the Padres got the lead back. Here, Sean Abner lines a single to center field, scoring Benito Santiago from third base, and San Diego led 3-2. But in the top of the 8th inning, Will Clark would give the Giants the lead. He belts a triple to deep center field. Sean Abner can't come up with the ball. Robbie Thompson scores the tying run, and Willie McGee would follow with the go-ahead run. San Francisco led 4-3. But in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Padres would score 4 runs to win the game. Here, Tony Gwynn grounds a single to center field, scoring Bip Roberts from second base, tying the score 4-4. Then later in the bottom of the 8th inning, Benito Santiago lines a single to left field, scoring Tony Gwynn from third base, giving the Padres a 5-4 lead. San Diego wins 7-4.
Nick Leyva's Phillies hope to pick up a win in New York on Tuesday afternoon, day 2 of the 1991 season. And Jason Grimsley, the Phillies rookie, on the mound, and he would have a solid outing, working 6 1/3, striking out a career-high 9 Mets, including Dave Magadan here in the bottom of the first. In the top of the 6th, Randy Reddy would break the scoreless tie as he would single to right field against Mets starter Frank Viola. And this would score John Kruk, who just gets in ahead of the throw from Hubie Brooks. And the Phils take a 1-0 lead. Another look at the throw would show that Brooks has to two-hop this to catcher Charlie O'Brien. O'Brien has the tag there, but the ball isn't in the glove. So despite the fact that the glove makes contact with Kruk, Kruk is safe, and the Phils with a 1-0 lead. Then the Phillies' defense would come alive. Bottom of the 6th, that's Reddy with a nice over-the-shoulder grab on Hubie Brooks. And then the left fielder, Von Hayes, would come up with a defensive gem as he takes away a looping base hit attempt by Howard Johnson. But the best would be saved for the bottom of the 7th with Vince Coleman at the plate, runners on 1st and 3rd. Mitch Williams in to relieve Grimsley, and he would get Coleman to fly to center field. The center fielder, Len Dykstra, comes up with a strong throw to Darren Dalton, who blocks the plate, and pinch runner Keith Miller is nailed trying to score as the call made by home plate umpire Bruce Fremming. Another look at the throw by Dykstra and the block by catcher Darren Dalton, and Miller can't get in, and the Mets would be deprived of a run. Ironically enough, Rick Cerrone would bat in the bottom of the 9th. This ironic because Miller had come in to run for the starting catcher Charlie O'Brien in the 7th, and he was thrown out at the plate. Thus Cerrone comes in to catch, and he has to bat in the bottom of the 9th. His first at bat as a New York Met is a solo home run to tie the game at 1, that coming off former Met reliever Roger McDowell. And then Hubie Brooks in the bottom of the 10th would end this one as he hits a home run on Phil's reliever Joe Baver. That's the game winner. The Mets win this one in 10 innings by the final score of 2-1. Doug Simons in his Major League debut gets the win. He's 1-0, and Baver is the Phillies' loser.